Hi, I'm Terry, and I'm nuts about stamping. I'm back today with another Sundays with Sizzix project. It's this Mother's Day card that I made using my Big Shot. Here are the supplies I used. I used my Big Shot, my platform, my 2 standard cutting pads. I used my square lattice textured impressions embossing folder, and I used my Fun Flowers die. I used Baja Breeze Classic ink. And for my stamp set, I used Teeny Tiny Wishes. If you don't own this stamp set, I strongly encourage you to consider it. It has a phrase for almost any occasion that you could possibly want to make a card for. For punches, I used my 3/4 inch circle, my 1/2 inch circle punch, and my scallop border punch. And for cardstock, I used Very Vanilla, Baja Breeze, and Springtime Vintage Designer Series paper. Hopefully you have a scrap of this paper left over because it just retired from the Occasions mini catalog, but you could change up the colors and use a different patterned Designer Series paper and end up with a beautiful card as well. I also used a Stampin' Sponge. I bought these sponges. They're much rounder and bigger than this, but I cut mine into quarters and used them to add a vintage detail to my images. And I used my snail adhesive and my Anywhere glue stick. All right, I'll be back in a moment and I will show you how to make the fun flower image for the front of the card. So the first thing we want to do for the card is to get the fun flowers all die cut and ready to go on the card front. So my sandwich is the bottom standard cutting pad, the Fun Flowers die, a piece of Very Vanilla cardstock on top, and then the top standard cutting pad. And then you want to run it through your Big Shot. Then, the next thing you want to do, don't put your Big Shot away quite yet, you want to take your 3 flowers that you die cut and you want to run them through the Big Shot using the textured impression embossing folder, and I use the vintage wallpaper. So you're going to need your platform, your bottom standard cutting pad. You can open up the folder and put your flowers in. Now, not all the flowers will fit in at once, so you're going to have to run them through 2 times. Put your open end in through first, and then run the folder through the Big Shot. So that gives me 2 flowers, and then I'll take those off the folder. And then I'll put in my last flower and run it through as well. There we go, same sandwich as before. Run it the open end of the folder through first, and then you're done with your Big Shot. Now the next thing I did was, you want to bring in your sponge and your Baja Breeze ink pad, and then I'm going to add a touch of color to the edge of the petals of the embossed side. We have the debossed side where the image goes in, and we have the embossed side where the image comes out. And so then I'm going to brush a bit of color on the edges of the petals like so. And I'm going to do that for all 3 flowers. You can add as much or as little as you like. You could add color more inside, towards the inside of each petal. And hopefully you can see that there's just a touch of color to the edge of the petals. All right, so let me bring in my finished project. So I did all 3 petals and I sponged all 3 with the Baja Breeze. I then took some scrap Baja Breeze cardstock and my 3/4 inch circle punch, punched a circle of plain Baja Breeze, and then I punched another little 1/2 inch circle of the Springtime Vintage Designer Series paper. I have, let's see, so that finishes the flower. So I put that aside. I adhered all 3 of them together using the Anywhere glue stick. Then for the card itself, my card base is Baja Breeze. I have a layer of the Very Vanilla. I have a strip of the Springtime Vintage Designer Series paper. Remember, since this is now retired, you would want to use a Designer Series paper of your choosing. I have a strip of the Baja Breeze that I ran through the scallop border punch and adhered that under the Springtime Designer Series paper, then adhered it to the Very Vanilla layer. I have a plain strip of Baja Breeze that I adhered on top. I stamped the Mother's Day, Happy Mother's Day image from Teeny Tiny Wishes using the Baja Breeze ink, and then put the whole thing together on the card. After I had it all put together, then what I did was I gently bent up the petals of my 3 different flowers. So I only adhered pretty much the circular inside. I left the petals kind of free and didn't adhere them to the card to add a 3D effect. And that's it. A beautiful card that's easy to make thanks to the Big Shot. For a complete list of the supplies and the ingredients that I used to make this card, please go to my blog, www.nutsaboutstamping.com. I'll also have the measurements for all of the cardstock layers that I used. While on my blog, you can subscribe to my customer newsletter. I have exclusive samples that come out a couple times a month with different project ideas. You can look through my other blog postings from the past several weeks, or you can ask me a question, or you can place an order for the products that I used. I'm Terry. I'm nuts about stamping. Happy Mother's Day to all my fellow stampers and crafters out there, and I'll see you next time. Bye for now.